Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm Charlotte Can, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the Voices of Sustainability virtual fireside chat series. We are joined today by experts who have demonstrated solutions that use AI for impact. Indeed, in today's episode, our guests will discuss how AI is driving breakthroughs in sustainability by addressing global challenges in energy, in carbon capture, and environmental monitoring. But before I introduce you to our fantastic guests, a few words about the Zayed Sustainability Prize. The prize was established in 2008 at the United Arab Emirates Pioneering Global Award for recognizing organizations and high schools for their sustainable, innovative, and humanitarian solutions. Today, the prize counts 16 years of global impact with over 384 million people around the world benefiting from its winners' solutions across the categories of health, food, energy, water, climate action, and global high schools. So, time now to meet our guests. Hello, Asif, Jane, and Tunde. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hey. Hi.
We are absolutely delighted to welcome you all today, of course, and I very much look forward to hearing your insights on how your organizations are tapping into AI technology to address some of the world's challenges, and there's no shortage of them, of course, unfortunately. So to start with, I'd like you all to maybe introduce yourselves and tell us what you do exactly, starting with Asif, maybe Asif Ansari. You are the president and CTO of Hyera. Tell us more.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yes, I've been passionate about renewable energy and sustainability for many, many years. And I started Hyera with the goal of making an impact in addressing one of the key challenges about the impact that agriculture has on global greenhouse emissions. 23%, who would have thought? And much of that comes from agricultural and forest wastes that are burned, and that just causes havoc with the environment, with all the VOCs and harmful chemicals that are emitted into the atmosphere that are injurious to health and causing all kinds of problems. And so, in order to address that, we came up with a solution using how to convert agricultural waste primarily into usable products sustainably. And one of the things that we did was using AI. We figured that there's a wide variety of agricultural waste that is produced and different type of feedstocks. So in order to produce a consistent and reliable product that can be monetized, for instance, activated carbon, biofuels, hydrogen, and power, you need to be able to adapt your process in real time because of the differences in feedstocks. And that's where AI came in. And it's just been a phenomenal journey figuring out how to run thermochemical processes in real time to adapt to the complexities of producing all these different types of chemicals economically. And it's been a fabulous impact because each kilogram or each ton of biomass we process through our technology, it sequesters up to 90% of the carbon that would have ended up in the atmosphere, producing valuable co-products and products, including activated carbons, hydrogen, and biofuels, while producing power in a sustainable manner.
Thank you, Asif. Before we dive further into your solution and its intricacies, I just wanted to maybe introduce Jane here. Jane, Glavan, you are the co-founder of Distant Imagery. Tell us what you do exactly and how you use AI for impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks so much for having me. So I'm the co-founder. We're a UAE SME, homegrown, very proud to be homegrown UAE. And so what we do is we build all our own aerial solutions such as kites, balloons, drones. One of our ladies is just behind us there. And so what we do that for is for carrying out MRV as well as habitat restoration. We just completed planting 5.5 million mangroves with our partners here in the UAE. And so then what we do is that we take these lessons that we've done at scale here in our region, and then we work with developing communities in the global south to train them so that they become self-empowered and self-efficient in building these solutions themselves. So there's lesson 6 screws, they're zip tied together. We use plastics from the site to create 3D filament. And so they actually build these solutions, these climate tech solutions themselves, so that they can carry out their own restoration as well as reduce the cost of MRV, which is absolutely exciting. And so AI is part of our journey since its beginning, and we really use it to reduce costs, to be more efficient, to really plan our planting patterns, but as well as evaluate the environment, because we take a nature-based approach, a nature-first approach. So it really is integral to everything we do.
And I concur, it's very exciting indeed. Well, I think we're off to a great start here. Tunde, time to find out more about your solutions now. Tunde Adeyemi, you're the CEO and co-founder of D-Olivette Enterprises. So Tunde, tell us all.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. I'm very privileged to be here. Actually, I grew up in an off-grid community, and I saw a lot of problem with energy poverty, as well as climate change. I always actually held my people backwards, and I wanted to do something about this. Our name, the Olivette, is actually the names of 3 scientists. We've dedicated most of our lives to working with rural communities, as well as refugee settlements, places where you don't have energy. So we wanted to help this people have access to sustainable energy, which is the reason we ended up creating the Olivette. We have different types of products. We have what we call the kitchen box. The kitchen box is used by thousands of women in rural parts of Africa. All they just need to do is feed it with organic waste, and they can actually get clean cooking gas. And then we have the larger capacities, which are actually installed on farms. Farmers can actually feed this with any type of organic waste, and they can get clean electricity. And then farmers also produce sustainable agro inputs like fertilizer as well as livestock feed. When it comes to AI, we understand farmers are very afraid of technologies. So to us, AI is not fancy, it's not luxury. It's more like a kind of partner, a aid, which can actually communicate in local African languages. If you are having challenge, you can easily communicate with it. You can say Yoruba, you can say Hausa, you can say Fulani language to AI. We believe AI should actually, be inclusive. Rural women, women that are actually, farmers should actually have access to AI, not just, learned people. So we've actually simplified it in a way that anybody can actually use it to optimize their pathway to actually produce more clean cooking gas as well as agro inputs. We actually, want to have a world where communities can actually, live sustainably. Thank you.
Tunde, I think that's a very valid point, actually, the linguistic capabilities of AI. And that's what's exciting about it as well. But obviously, you do need to ensure that the translation capabilities are there. But it's a work in progress, I guess. And I just wanted to go back to Asif, actually, to understand how you plan to scale up your solution and what's your key challenge maybe at the moment to do so.
So our solution to scale, essentially, recognizing that most of the agricultural waste that is produced is in small rural communities and, across the world. And their solution for dealing with that agricultural waste is just to burn it, which is just creates havoc in local environments and the pollution and all that. And they're just, there's wasting a valuable resource. So what we decided was, in order to make this thing more viable, we reduced the scale and size of our solution and integrated all these technologies into a small packaged plant that can be replicated and installed within 2 months. Fabrication to installation within 2 months for a very modest investment that would be affordable by a small farmer or in a rural community, and it empowers them because it brings substantially more revenue than it would than even the agricultural core business would bring, while providing energy independence and fuels and marketable commodities. So it's a great value proposition for them, for these folks to encourage them to to adapt this, and when they see the advantages, they really do follow through. And we're getting inquiries from all around the world for this solution, and then working with NGOs. So that's and really the key is bringing down the size and the scale for replication and the ease of socializing this technology and demonstrating its economics. Environmental benefits are obviously, not what the primary concern for most farmers is. It's really economics, and the value proposition is what really makes this compelling.
Indeed, thank you very much. I could see Jane nodding here, because as you mentioned previously, the excitement around AI is for productivity and cost reduction reasons too. Jane, could you expand on that a little bit, actually?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So really, because we take a nature first approach in how we plant, we really need to make decisions on how those planting patterns should occur. And we're talking about micro nuances at the sub-meter level of information that we're trying to take in and evaluate, as well as our own knowledge and as well as fieldwork assessing the site itself. And so really creating very efficient patterns, especially when you're working at scale, is something that AI really helps us towards. And then you can imagine, because we're planting at scale in the millions, you can imagine when we're monitoring, because we monitor absolutely every seedling that is growing, 100% of them, but we're talking about millions. So you can imagine the labor force, the workforce that's needed to be able to count every seedling, literally 1, 2, 3, as well as calculate the height, as well as the number of leaves for 50% of those. It's quite labor intensive and takes a lot of time. And then you can imagine that as well with in the global south in a project such as Makoko Pamoja in Kenya. And so what AI does when we're building the platforms is we're also looking at creating platforms around evaluating that from drones for success rates and other parameters of looking at ecological change. A major challenge, though, is because it's so complex environment of what makes a mangrove grow and why it can be two sites, very close together, visually looks like the same kind of topography and a tidal inundation and everything else, but one place will grow really well and another won't. And so because of those micro nuances, we don't understand completely what makes a successful mangrove, what makes the tallest, most robust, the ones that will provide the most ecosystem services back. And so that takes years of data, and that complexity is so hard to understand. So when we're building the AI platforms and we're trying to train the algorithms and train machine learning and everything else, that complexity we don't have, so it's hard to integrate that in when we're actually building the platforms themselves. We're not at that stage yet, so that's some of the challenges that we face, the sheer amount of data, the scale of that data, the resolution of that data, but also as humans trying to figure out these beautiful micro nuances of nature, what makes it grow, is something that we're trying to build. And that's really an exciting area in the future that AI will certainly help us with.
Indeed, because thanks to AI, you can build models for predicting how nature is going to behave and whether it's going to yield the results you expect, of course, which is another reason why it's very promising. But Tunde, you mentioned earlier that, I mean, it's quite a big step from agriculture to AI, isn't it? And small farming to AI. And I imagine that AI proficiency may be an issue with some of the key users here. So tell us about the challenges you have encountered, or what could make a difference to your plans to scale up your solution.
Actually, like I stated earlier, I grew up in a village, and I actually understand the real problem the people actually face. When we talk about AI, we believe at the Olivette that it shouldn't just be exclusive to maybe a mobile phone that actually requires internet. So we're doing a lot of extensive research on what we call intelligent USSD. This is a kind of what we call a kind of local technology, which fintechs are actually using in Africa. They've used this to actually penetrate a lot of rural communities in Africa, which are a lot of hundreds of millions of people. And then it's just a kind of code that they can receive SMS on their phones. So, and we've actually looked at this model also with the aid of AI, and we've said, okay, we want to actually penetrate the most underserved communities with AI. And the only way we can actually do this is through USSD service, and they can receive text, and they can actually text our own chatbot back, and it can actually text them back. So so basically what we've actually done is we've like, okay, how can we bring AI to the most basic level? We know, understand AI is extremely advanced, but how do we oversimplify it? So that is what we're actually doing uniquely at the Olivette.
That's so cool.
That's amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible indeed. I'd like to ask you all maybe, maybe to detach yourself from your solutions and your day-to-day usage of AI, to maybe tell us what you think really AI will bring to this world. I mean, especially in terms of sustainability. How do you think it's going to change things? Where do you see exciting opportunities for AI in sustainability in the next, let's say, 10 years? James. Asif.
I think that it has great potential to make a significant impact on sustainability and energy efficiencies, because data is really the key for understanding a lot of what we don't really know. Like, for instance, just looking at the amount of greenhouse gases emitted from agriculture was really quite a surprise. And that data has been siloed. A lot of data is siloed. A lot of data is incompatible in the sense that it's not usable across different platforms. So integrating data, harmonizing data from different industries, different geographic locations and ecosystems will help us understand how to improve resources, improve efficiencies, and understand the impact of different different industries, different processes, and different human endeavors, anthropogenic carbon sources, what they do to the environment. And once we have that data, we can then look at solutions and develop solutions that are integrated, and a lot of cross-fertilization can occur in the industry so that we can make significant, quicker progress. Right now, everything is sort of fragmented, but there's an opportunity to really bring all this data together and come up with impactful solutions.
Thank you, Asif. So, well, you sound quite excited about the prospects, but can I just ask you, every time the world is introduced to a new emerging technology, I'm thinking of blockchain, for instance, or 3D printing that we talked so much about 10, 15 years ago. There's always a certain amount of excitement and hype, etc. Is it different this time? Is it a real game changer?
Yes, I think it is. And the reason is that, data doesn't lie. And as long as the data that was generated didn't have an ulterior motive, because data can be skewed depending on what your purpose, what you're trying to demonstrate from the data. Honest data is very informative in the sense that it tells you about patterns and trends and things, insights that you couldn't have normally gotten by just scientific endeavor. So I believe that this time around, data is an independent arbiter, and just developing the algorithms and finding the underlying insights that are necessary to affect change so it's not hype. I think it's a reality that can't be ignored. It's just a matter of using it with transparency and having explainable algorithms, so that things aren't black boxes, so we can trust the data. We know that it's how it works and how it acts, so we can, there can be more trust in it, which is really kind of lacking at this point, because a lot of the data is a lot of the algorithms are sort of black boxes for monetization purposes.
I think that's key indeed, absolutely. Now, Jane, do you want to follow up on that maybe?
Yeah, I was just to add to that, I think that will be really a growing area of need as well, is that there will be so many, as you were saying, Asif, there will be several different fragmented AI platform and decision making, all within its own algorithms of how those decisions are made. But there will be a need for them to be able to co-join and speak to each other. The same issues that have been there around data and ontologies and being able to speak together, and the sharing of the ability for that data to work together, and accessibility, that will be the same issues as there's multiple fragmented AI platforms that begin to emerge. They really need to be able to speak together so that it'll be, imagine that incredible, of all these multiple different decision-making frameworks and algorithms behind all these platforms, but actually working together to solve an issue will be even more powerful that way. But there will be a lot of issues that we need to face around, like just the bare basics of, data ontologies, data working together, data accessibility.
Thank you, Jane. I remember the early days of the internet, where we thought it would be decentralized and it would serve so many different communities. Has it happened? Big question mark. Maybe a question for Tunde, actually, going back to the topic of your hopes for AI, or how you see the technology develop in the next decade, and how it can be used for. Okay, Tunde, over to you.
Okay, just as Asif said, it's all about data, and then so we understand this great potential of AI, and we understand that it might look a little bit complex, but also we're using AI to solve some of AI's problem. We query AI, we tell it, how can we make you more inclusive? How can we bring you to some of the most underserved people? How can we integrate you into their daily lives, especially when it comes to them adopting cleaner renewable energy and probably becoming more sustainable. So and it's very interesting the feedbacks we get, and using our own data as well as our own experience, we'll look on how we can actually match all this information together. It's all about data, the data we actually have, and the vast resources of data AI itself also has access to. So we're looking for a kind of convergence, how we can actually match this in a way AI itself actually becomes more like kind of everyday technology that is actually accessible to anybody, no matter where you are, whether you have internet, whether you don't have internet, you can actually interact with AI. So we've actually been able to solve this problem using AI itself.
Thank you, Tunde. Now, to wrap up our fascinating conversation, I would like to ask you all to reflect, or maybe share a wish you have for the development of AI for impact, or maybe what the missing link is in order to really scale up?
Well, yeah, so I mean, I think that the key missing link in my mind is really the ability to integrate the different types of insights that are gained across different industries, for different solutions, to bring about solutions that impact humanity. For instance, weather patterns are changing. That changes agriculture. There's a need for resilient agriculture. Data that can help across the board in terms of farming and our life and energy use and resource use. That is something that really needs to happen and needs to happen quickly, because things are changing quite quickly, and I believe that the solution lies in being able to integrate different types of solution sets. You're utilizing this vast amounts of data, and opening it up, the access to that data, so more folks have access to look at and inquire and look for solutions, and leverage this data and this information. And I feel very encouraged that the future looks much brighter with the onset of AI and the potential it brings to solve humanity's problems.
Thank you. Tunde.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte. Okay, on my own side, I strongly believe that when it comes to AI, we have a lot of problems in the world. There's so much challenges, and I believe right now, part of the excitement about AI is the fact we can actually use this to solve many of these problems. People are suffering. There's a lot of energy poverty, a lot of hunger, a lot of poverty, a lot of diseases. And I think AI itself sparkles like a kind of a beacon, like a light in a time when a lot of people are actually hoping that we need something that can actually help us solve many of these problems. So I'm very positive, I'm very excited, and I'm very lucky to be in a time when we have something so amazing that we can actually use to optimize solution and to create more impact. So that's my view. Thank you.
Thank you, Tunde. We need optimism in this world indeed. So Jane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think similar to what Tunde was talking about is that a real change and hope that we have is that sometimes the platforms are still incredibly expensive and difficult to create, as well as machine learning platforms. And so making those easier, making them more accessible, making those less costly so that more people have access to them. And then from a selfish as a climate tech provisioner is that really around the hardware itself, like just having them amazing computing power, being much smaller, easier to carry from a kite or a balloon, and so that it can do on the fly processing and analytics as it's fly and decision making as it's in the air in real time. That would be an incredible change. So yeah, but it's a positive future, I believe.
Yeah, and a little bit less energy hungry, I guess. That would be a great thing. But many thanks to all of you for this great conversation. Really great to see you very soon, of course, to celebrate your achievements. Jane, Tunde, Asif, we wish you all the best. A big thank you to our audience as well for tuning in. And if you want to watch the entire session, it will be posted on the Zayed Sustainability Prizes YouTube channel, one not to miss. Indeed, many thanks to all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Nice meeting you, Asif. Bye, Jen.
Thank you.